If you're wondering the differences between Honda's manual, e-clutch, and DCT, stop right here. Today in this video, I'm going to break down each one to help you decide which way to go. Honda has three different transmission technologies that offer three completely different philosophies on how to ride a motorcycle. First, you have the manual transmission, which puts the rider in full control of their experience. Then you have the DCT, which is more electronic and favors a more automatic experience. Then you have the e-clutch, which now offers something in between. And on paper, it sounds perfect, but is it actually? So which one is right for you? My name is Chris, and you're watching Inland 208 Adventures. Let's break it all down. So the first one we're going to talk about is the manual, and it's also the one we're going to talk about the least amount of time because we all know what it is. It's been around for well over 100 years. Typically by your left hand you have a clutch lever, and then by your left foot you have a gear shifter. You go down for first and you go up for the rest. And typically you have either a 5 or 6 speed transmission on your motorcycle, at least these days you do. And it offers a completely manual experience like you would expect. And it just works. That's why everybody still does it. And most manufacturers, that's the only thing that they offer. Really only Honda is the only one that I know of that really pushes the envelope and offers different technologies to meet different types of riders and also to meet different types of situations. So that's your manual. Know and love it. Let's move on to the next one. The next one that we're going to talk about is the dual clutch transmission, or DCT for short. Now, this technology has been around for a few years now, and it's been pretty well tested. This is the Honda Rebel 1100 DCT, as most of you that have followed this channel know that I own. And it has been a very interesting and a very rewarding experience, but completely different from a manual. And those of you that really like to have control of the clutch and control of the transmission, you maybe not like this so much, but there are some benefits to it. Like I've talked about in other videos where since you're not using that part of your brain that even if it just feels automatic, you're still using it where you're thinking about when you're going to shift or where I'm at with the RPMs or what have you, you can really just kind of sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride and the views. And I've actually really enjoyed it. I bought this bike with the DCT mostly for YouTube because I felt like there was less on it. And I also thought the technology was interesting and I wanted to try it out. So I kind of was doing kind of a leap of faith, and it worked out for me. I do enjoy it. You use a shifter on the right-hand side to put it in either drive, which is completely automatic, where it shifts the gears for you, or you can put it in the manual mode, where you use some paddle shifters on the left-hand side. You have a trigger to go up, and you have a thumb switch to go down. And another thing that's nice about the DCT is how fast the transmission shifts. Now, I'm not going to go into the technical side too much. This isn't going to be a technical video, but just the way that the DCT is designed, it's almost an instantaneous switch of gears. So if you're trying to get really aggressive with your acceleration, this thing shifts really fast, way faster than I think most people can shift manually. And so that kind of makes it a little bit more fun in its own way. The negative side, aside from like some people may not like it because they like the manual or they just don't want to try it. It does add about 40 pounds more weight, so in the ballpark of that. So that could be a downside with some motorcycles too. So let's go ahead and talk about the next one. I'm going to interrupt this video for just a second because I've been trying out this hardshell motorcycle backpack from Kemimoto recently, and one thing I really like about it is how practical it is for long riding days. The hard outer shell gives it a really clean and aggressive look, but it also helps the bag keep its shape instead of collapsing in on itself when you're trying to pack gear. It's also expandable, which is honestly super useful. And if I'm just carrying camera gear and basics, I can keep it compact, but if I need extra room for my drone, extra layers, or stuff we pick up during the ride, I can unzip it and get a lot more storage space. And because it's built for motorcycles, it stays planted while riding, and it doesn't feel bulky or awkward on the bike. So if you want to check out this motorcycle backpack from Kemimoto, I'll have a link in the description below. Okay, so now let's talk about the e-clutch. So the e-clutch is a bolt-on to the side of the engine that features a pair of electric motors to manipulate the clutch while you shift manually. So you still use your foot on the left-hand side. You go down for first, you go up for the rest, just like a manual motorcycle, because it's kind of more of a semi-automatic in the e-clutch case. So up here on the bar, you still have a clutch lever, but when you have the e-clutch mode turned on, it's kind of dead. It doesn't really do anything because the e-clutch module itself is taking care of all that clutch work for you. Now you can turn it off, in which case it's a fully manual motorcycle. The negative, from what I understand, is the clutch does feel a little bit heavier, but it's not bad. It's just something to note. The really cool thing about the e-clutch is you have that option. So if you want that full manual experience, you can do that. If you want that semi-automatic experience, but you're still shifting, you can do that. Another nice thing is that if you are in traffic or you're commuting, you can still go to a complete stop without touching the clutch lever, and you're not going to stall. And then you just start up kind of like you're going with the DCT. So kind of a cool idea, a really in between. So it's like your manual is your manual, your DCT is your full automatic, and your e-clutch is kind of that semi-automatic. It's a newer technology. They're just starting to put it in bikes. They have it in the Rebel 300 now, which I think is a fantastic thing because a new rider can learn and still get the feeling of negotiating, you know, a bike that weighs a few hundred pounds, but not have to divide their concentration between negotiating the weight while they're still learning and manipulating the clutch lever, which I think is a really clever thing to do. So yeah, let's just tie it all up, and I'm going to give you my ideas of who each of these systems is designed for. So now I'm going to give you my recommendation on who I think these different technologies is meant for. Starting with the manual transmission. This is for somebody who just wants that full control, no frills. I just want to ride the motorcycle and control the entire experience type of thing. There's nothing wrong with that, and a matter of fact, sometimes that's what I want. And also it's for somebody that doesn't want to have a bunch of extra electronics on their bike. Also, the manual transmission tends to be a little bit less expensive than their electronic counterparts. The DCT is great for people who want an automatic experience. Also good for new riders who want to learn how to ride a motorcycle and get used to the weight of a motorcycle, but don't want to have the pressure of negotiating a clutch and gear levers while getting used to that. Also, the DCT is great for somebody who maybe has arthritis or has a disability that would otherwise prevent them from riding a motorcycle. The e-clutch is the best of both worlds, and it's actually my choice for new riders. You can get started by doing the semi-automatic thing, and then when you're more comfortable with the bike, you can graduate to using the clutch. Also, it's great for commuters. So put in the comments which of these technologies is right for you and why. A very special thank you to all of our channel members. And if you would like to join the crew, go ahead and hit that join button right down below the video, where you can gain exclusive perks and early access to our content. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more Inland Northwest adventures and of course motorcycle content, just like in this video right here, where I do a comparison between the Honda Rebel 1100T and the Indian Super Scout in an all-out battle to decide once and for all which one is best. I'll see you there.